Hi everybody, it's Carolyn. I'm the children's librarian at Battersea and York Gardens Library. Welcome to another Create a Comic workshop, the drawing part. This is the 5th drawing workshop, and yesterday Lucinda posted the 5th writing workshop. Make sure to check that one out first because it is all about dialogue, and we are going to be using the piece of dialogue that Lucinda created yesterday for this workshop today. She also showed some really good examples of using dialogue in movies, in TV, in picture books, and of course, in graphic novels and comic books. So please go check those out. It's really helpful. It's always really helpful to look at the comic books that you love and what they do for inspiration. But of course, you do your own thing, follow your own creative journey. We're just providing some tips and tricks, and we'd love for you to do the same. So share with us what you've been doing, what you've been learning, and we can help other people learn from you too. Another video you might want to watch before we begin is last week's drawing workshop, which was about storyboarding. So beginning to draft out what the plot is going to look like visually set out in your comic book. We are going to use some of the same techniques that we used last time this week. And so this video might make a little more sense if you go watch it, but I'm sure you can catch up. So we are going to talk about dialogue as well. We are going to use the dialogue that Lucinda produced in yesterday's workshop to start thinking about how to plot out dialogue in your comic book. So that's why we are going to use that storyboarding technique. We're doing something very similar, only now instead of just roughly sketching pictures, we're going to think about how to actually insert and depict the dialogue in your comic book. So when it comes to putting that dialogue you wrote into your comic book, there are kind of 4 major things you want to consider. And the first is space. Literally, how are the words going to fit on your page? So this isn't just considering things like word count, actually how many words fit on a page, but how you want to pace them and space them out. You don't want to have the full dialogue in one panel. It's a little overwhelming and it's boring to look at. And when someone talks, as you can see right now, they move a lot, their face changed. And you want to have the space and the time to convey that a conversation goes in ups and downs and different moods and roundabouts to make it feel natural. You might also want to consider how you can use the text and the size of the text itself to convey emotion or tone. So if the character is saying something like, "I'm so angry," you might want to make that really big. Or better yet, if they're not saying they're so angry, by making the text really big, you can convey that they're angry, even if maybe the words themselves don't say anything about how angry they are. So you want to start considering things like that. You might also want to think about the shape of the speech bubble. Like we mentioned in the last workshop, you might use, these aren't speech bubbles, these are panels, but you might, for example, use a speech bubble like this for something like anger. It looks like, ah. You might want to use one like this, of course, for a thought. A lot of what's in the comic book will probably be spoken dialogue, but there might be thoughts or narration that you want to put in this. Maybe they're feeling a little bit wobbly, or be creative. What different shapes can you come up with to convey different emotions or volumes or tones? Another thing you want to consider is how the different characters speak. You don't want to make things too complicated, but you might think about how the text is going to look or be paced differently depending on the characters. So in Lucinda's workshop, she talked about how Sam seems a little bit more measured than Zaffy in how he talks. He, in that scene particularly, liked to build the anticipation towards the big reveal of the telescope being able to see magic. So he might say a sentence over a few panels that Zaffy says in 1 or 2 panels. The second thing, and we kind of touched on this already, is emotion. You can depict emotion by literally writing down what the character feels. You can depict emotion by, like I said, making the text big or bold or wobbly to convey how they're feeling. But obviously this is also a visual format where we see the characters speaking. And so you can see on their face what they are feeling, usually, unless they're lying, and then you kind of want to depict that through your dialogue as well. So a really good thing to do is to practice drawing out different emotions. Just like when we originally designed our character, Zaffy, we tried her in different, from different perspectives, so we know what she looks like in various parts of the comic book. I've also done some really rough sketches of what some different emotions might look like. So you can see here, that's her kind of like excited, puzzled, angry, sad, and surprised. And one thing you can of course do to try to decide what a character is going to look like in each emotion is do the faces yourself. Excited Zaffy. Different people use different facial expressions, of course. So since you are stuck at home with your family members, observe them too. Maybe try sketching them. Maybe don't try making them angry, but if they are angry, what do they look like? If they're sad, what do they look like? Hopefully most of the time they're happy. And so you know really well what that looks like. And just try sketching out different facial expressions for your different characters. And keep in mind that not everyone is going to express emotions the same way. Someone like Zaffy, who seems very free in her emotions, very excitable, she might very quickly change her facial expressions to betray what she's feeling, even when she's trying not to. Whereas Sam, maybe he is able to control his demeanor a little bit more. He still seems pretty excitable. I mean, he's a kid. But he is a little bit more of an actor, it seems. So maybe he has a bit more control over how he shows his emotions. So what will that look like as well? The third thing to consider is the character's relationship to one another. People are going to speak differently with people they have different feelings about. If they really love someone, if they're really close to them, they might touch a bit more during a conversation. They might stand closer together. They might be more comfortable showing their emotions to that person or whispering in their ear. If they are enemies, that can go either way. They might be quite standoffish and keep their distance and not look each other in the eye. Or they might be quite aggressive up in each other's faces and glaring at each other. Kind of depends on what relationship they have as enemies. If they're just sort of acquaintances, they're probably going to keep a reasonable distance, but be polite enough. But of course, that depends on your character. Is your character very rude? Do they love to hug everybody? These are all things that are going to come across in your pictures, but are about how characters interact with each other, just in the same way dialogue is largely about that as well. Lastly, number 4, you need to think about what the dialogue isn't showing. So oftentimes, if this were a novel, for example, what the dialogue doesn't show might be in between the lines. They might be saying, well, and then this character thought this, or the character shuffled their feet, showing they were nervous. But you need to show this in the pictures. So think about that. Is the character hiding something? Would that make them sort of wobbly or nervous? Are they trying to suppress their rage? Is there steam coming out of their ears, which you could, if you're doing a more realistic graphic novel, might just be a kind of facial expression. Or if you want, you can literally draw steam out of their ears. That's the cool thing about the comic books. You can use so many other visual cues that you maybe normally wouldn't in other art forms and don't exist in real life to show emotion. So for example, if we go back to my pictures of Zaffy, you can see there I drew some stars, which kind of show she's like excited and starry-eyed. I bet you if those were hearts, that face to you would say, oh, she's in love. I drew a question mark up here showing she's puzzled. These sort of sight lines there showing she's surprised, and kind of a little tornado-y twirl of smoke showing she's angry or frustrated there. So again, you don't need to use those at all. You can use them sometimes, but just think about the different ways you might show what is going on in the scene that is not specifically in the dialogue. So there's a lot to think about. Let's get started. So I'm going to use the same storyboarding technique as I did in my workshop last week, which was to roughly draw the scenes on these cutouts of panels and then tape them lightly down on my sketchbook so that I can move them around. I can take one away if I don't like it. So we are going to do that for the scene that Lucinda wrote between Zaffy and her friend Sam. So I'll just quickly read that dialogue for you so that you remember. Sam. Zaffy, that's an octopus? Mm-hmm. Her name's Carol. She's looking at me funny. You're looking at her funny. It's mutual. What did you get anyway? Glad you asked. Allow me to introduce a telescope. We've got a telescope. Not like this. Look. What is that? That, oh Captain, would be magic. So there you go. You can tell by the way I paced it and read it, inspired by Lucinda's reading, that Sam and Zaffy both have a very different way of talking, but they both seem pretty excited about what's going on in this scene. So it should be a fun one to draw. Okay, so I have very quickly sketched out a super rough draft of the scene here. So like you can see, it's very basic line work. That's Zaffy. That's the octopus. But I've put in things like speech bubbles and character placement, which is kind of the most important thing at this stage, so that I have a foundation to start drawing based off of, and I don't necessarily have to go back and be like, oh, I didn't leave room for that speech bubble at the end. You can also see I've thought about things like pacing out the bubbles. So this one kind of goes speech here, pause, speech here, pause, ... And that is to give a sense of how Sam likes to build anticipation in this scene towards the big reveal of telescope, and then the even bigger reveal of the telescope can see magic. So now what I'm going to do is trace the panels where I like them and start doing a little bit less of a rough draft, where I can start putting in things like the emotions on characters' faces, their body language, things like that also add to the dialogue, but I didn't really incorporate into this first very rough draft. Okay, so I've done a bit more of a detailed draft of my dialogue. I more or less stuck to the panels that I had laid out before, just added in some more detail. Now I realized I forgot to double check what Sam looks like, so that might change entirely, but that's just Sam for now. And then of course we have Zaffy and Carol the octopus. So Sam says, Zaffy, that's an octopus. And like I said before, I use this sort of leveled speech bubbles to show a pause in between his words. You can also, of course, use the ellipses. And then she says, her name's Carol. And so you can see I started to add some detail to the faces. So she's looking a bit like happy, maybe a bit smug. Sam's looking a bit skeptical. And you can see that I used the Y panel showing Zaffy standing here with confidence and pride in her new pet octopus. Sam's backing away, shrinking away a little bit. He's not too sure. Carol, I don't know. She's inscrutable. And then these panels here, you can see I did a close-up of his eyes and her eyes to convey the idea of them looking at each other. So she's looking at me funny. And then there's Carol's eyes. You're looking at her funny. It's mutual. What did you get anyway? So you can see I did this text over kind of two panels. So it's almost like a voiceover by Zaffy over Carol's gaze. And then it goes into this panel. And here's Carol as well. I think I like the idea, and you can see her tentacles coming out here a bit. I kind of like the idea of Carol the octopus like breaking the fourth wall kind of, and like maybe hinting to the audience what the narrator or sort of what the reader might be thinking about the situation. So that, anyway, there she is. She's noticed you, the reader. We'll see if we stick to that. And then Sam, glad you asked me. Allow me to introduce, and you can see I kind of left long pauses here, a telescope. And there's the telescope. But you can see here I did a kind of like know-it-all-y sort of expression on Sam, and Zaffy's looking a bit like bored and like, oh, typical Sam being a drama queen. We've got a telescope, and I underlined it, got. But, you know, that might be something you go back to the text and think about. And again, she's still sort of looking that bored look. Not like this. Look. And there's Sam sort of like pushing the telescope to her. She's like, oh gosh, pretty pushy. Carol, I think, kind of has an ooh expression. She might know more about the telescope than she's letting on. I don't know. I'm creating a whole backstory for Carol in this. So Zaffy looks through, and then I kind of use the perspective of the telescope. And then this will be actually what Zaffy is seeing, not the end of the telescope. But I just thought that was a cool effect to pan over to the next frame. And it also sort of guides the reader, because normally, like I said, you'd read left to right, but this kind of is going opposite. But I think that effect guides the reader, but I could always flip it. What is that again? Portraying the pause. And I haven't really decided what like magic is going to look like, so I've just sort of done some vague squiggles, but that would be the actual scene that Zaffy is looking at. That, oh Captain, and again, oops, I just realized that I forgot. That, oh Captain, and then I do ... is ... magic. So again, we're sort of delaying the big reveal. Again, he's got his know-it-all expression on, and then very excited, dramatic reveal that it is magic. So as you can see, that's still a pretty rough sketch, but if I'm happy with the general gist of it, then I will go back and do it better and do some line work and start thinking about coloring. I will update you as we go along. So you take the dialogue that you wrote during Lucinda's workshop and start storyboarding and drafting how it's going to look in a comic book. Please share what you're working on. We love to see it, and I always learn something new too. And you can also now earn library achievement badges for participating in these workshops, as well as all our other online events, or for downloading ebooks, or of course for how many books you're reading during lockdown. And I hope you're doing lots and lots of reading. So make sure to check out the information about that as well on the Wandsworth Librarians Facebook page. Lastly, before I let you get drawing, we have a customer survey out. So we'd really appreciate if you'd give us some feedback about the kind of online events and services that we're offering as a children's team, and what we can do to improve and build upon that, because we want to continue reaching our audiences while we're in lockdown, and hopefully we will see you very, very soon. So do some drawing, do some writing, share it with us, and we will see you next week with Lucinda's writing workshop on Saturday at 3 p.m. and my drawing workshop Sunday at 3 p.m. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, have a great week. Bye-bye.